I was like, I won $92,000. And he was like, what? Like, I won $92,000. And then the worst part was not being able to tell anybody. Because it's not like I just won Wheel of Fortune. Like, I kicked Wheel of Fortune's butt. And I didn't get to tell anybody for like 2 months. And it was very stressful. We watch Wheel of Fortune all the time. My kids learn how to recognize letters, even learn how to count. So when Vanna's like, hey, there's 3, Pat says there's 3 E's, Vanna goes 1, 2, 3, and my kids learn how to count and do letters watching Wheel of Fortune. They've got the commercials all the time. Go to wheeloffortune.com, apply to be a contestant. And I was like, it can't be that easy. My husband kept fussing at me because I'm yelling at the TV, because I know the answer and they're not getting it. And he's like, if you're gonna yell at the TV, you've at least gotta apply so I can get some money out of this. And so I was like, you know what, fine. Got on there, applied, didn't think anything about it. They emailed almost immediately and said, hey, can we do an audition? Didn't hear anything else about it. About 4 months later, I'd given up on it, and they emailed and said, hey, can you be in LA in 2 weeks? And that was it. I said, I guess so. They shoot the whole week in 1 day. So when we were doing our prep, first, the day before, you had to come in and get COVID tested by their testers. And then you come in the next day at 6:30 in the morning. And they tell you if you were late, they're gonna pick one of those alternates. So we were there at 6:30 in the morning in LA traffic to shoot the episode. The best part is when you get ready on the Jeopardy stage. I'm guessing the way they shoot Jeopardy in Wheel of Fortune is that Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy don't shoot at the same times, so they take turns using these other stages. I would assume that Jeopardy's contestants get ready at the Wheel of Fortune stage because they're right next door to each other, and vice versa. We got ready at the Jeopardy stage. So like all the Jeopardy props were like piled up on the corner and everything's wrapped up to keep it clean and safe. One of my friends, Zach Dark, was on Jeopardy, and I was sitting right there, I was like, oh, this is where Zach was. So then we were shooting the episode, and so before the episode, we do a practice run, and I remember one of the assistants getting on to me. She's like, you don't need to watch him spin, you need to solve the puzzle. And I was like, but I already know the answer, I'm just waiting on him. And she's like, what? And I was like, I know the answer. So yes, I knew Wheel of Fortune was my game. I won, and I knew the bonus round, but I couldn't tell you what any of the puzzles were. At the end of the day, I couldn't have told you what any of the puzzles were. It was just a blur. But it's really, really awkward. We had to have lessons on spinning the wheel. And one of the guys was left-handed, and he had to have his own special lessons, and he had to try out if it was easier to spin left-handed or right-handed, because when you're left-handed, you have to reach across from yourself. They don't want you to rock it back and spin it, and that's what your natural instinct is to reach it, cock it back as far as you can, and then pull it through. They don't like that sound. I also have a theory that they make it sound like it goes longer than it does. If you watch the show, they show the contestant spinning, they pan to something else, and you hear the sound, and then you go back and it's going. I really think that it only spins for as long as they show the person. Like they cut the pieces in between. That's what I think happens, because I don't ever remember the wheel spinning as much as it sounds like it spins. And you don't actually see a whole spin of the wheel. The only time you see the wheel spin is in the bonus round, and that wheel is a lot lighter because it's this big. But the wheel is much smaller than I thought it would be, but it seemed about as hard to spin as I expected. Definitely, like, we had a whole group of camaraderie, like cheering each other on and helping each other out. Before I had to go fill out my paperwork after my show, they were like, all right, come talk to the next line of contestants and give them some advice. And I was like, buy the vowels. I know it seems expensive to spend $250 on an A, but buy the vowels. We are not allowed to have our phones out. You're not allowed to take cameras. Nothing is allowed on stage. Because I would have been shooting pictures everywhere. Me with the wheel, me with Vanna, none of those things are allowed. They're very, very strict about it. I actually had to step outside to text my husband that I was about ready to go and I had to turn my phone back off before I could come back inside. We weren't allowed to wear Apple Watches. Nothing like that was allowed.
Was your husband in the audience?
No, because of COVID rules, he was not in the audience. He flew with me. He drove me and dropped me off like my first day of kindergarten and waited outside. He actually, one of his cousins works in LA. So they went and had lunch and hung out, and then he came back to get me after the show. So I actually told my husband and his cousin because he was in the car when I got out, and I couldn't keep it quiet for 10 seconds. I seriously considered telling my husband that I won like a toss-up and been done. But I couldn't even have kept a straight face to tell him that. So I just got in the car and I was like, I won $92,000. And he was like, what? I won $92,000. I'm Alex City famous, yes. 2 of our clients called yesterday. One of them called and just said, and she calls all the time, and so I was like, oh, hey, what can I do for you? And she's like, well, I just wanted to tell you congratulations. I saw you on Wheel of Fortune. The first time I got recognized was today at work. A client that I had never seen before was like, did I see you on Wheel of Fortune this week? I was like, yeah, that was me.